Hello, everybody. Hope you are doing well. Dark Matter, how you doing? Um, it is the Demetra K Show, where we promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. And sometimes I do share the link because you're a family. Donovan will be on in just a couple of minutes. He was leaving jury duty and all of that. So as soon as he's situated, he'll be on. Hey, Big Rich. But if I do decide to share the link today and your profile looks like this, please show me this. And then if you're not comfortable, you could go back to this. Just know, especially if I've never seen you on here before, I must absolutely see your face, because sometimes people like to do things that I don't like them to do. So anyway, nevertheless, also in the comment section, it's not that we disagree, it is how we disagree. So let's be as respectful as possible to each other. The same thing goes for us on the panel here. Now, of course, if you hey Clifford, how you doing? Geechee Dan was Geechee Dan Buford, Uptown Saturday night. How you doing, Marjorie? How you doing? So of course, you guys have probably seen and heard a lot about the decision, I guess, that happened today with Justice John Roberts, to say Chief Justice John Roberts of the Supreme Court, stopping Trump from impeaching a judge who blocked his deportation plan. And I'll get into all of that in just a few. Give everybody a moment to come on here. Don't need, how you doing? Mike Nice, how are you? One of my other triple OG moderators, hope you are doing well. Daryl, how you doing? Says, I don't think Justice Robert will last Trump's full term. He will step down for health issues. Justice Roberts doesn't seem like he's sick. I don't know. But I'm interested to know why you said that. Brenda Starr, how you doing? Priscilla, what's going on with you? Jersey City in the building. And Ab Raffo, how you doing? It says peace from Miami, new subscriber. All right, now, thank you so much. Love and appreciate you for that. So again, just giving everybody just a moment or two. Be on here about an hour. Now listen, I always say that, and Lord knows I'm here longer than that. So anyway, there's obviously a whole lot of other stuff going on in the world, and of course we'll get into that, I guess, if you guys want to. Derry says Trump will force him out. How? And we'll get into that too. I just want to know how all of that is going to be done. So anyway, Sister Shirley, what's going on with you? I think I've tap danced enough. I'll wait till we get to the 3-minute mark, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Because we got, well, not a lot to cover, but enough to take up a little bit of time. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it for the sake of time. Okay, so what had happened was conservative Supreme Court Justice, Chief Justice John Roberts, stopped President Donald Trump from impeaching a federal judge, James E. Boasberg, due to him ruling against his deportation plan of illegal immigrants from Venezuela. Specifically, Trump said they were getting rid of the gang Tren de Agua, something like that. I think that's how you say it. And obviously Trump saying, oh, they're, criminals. And that's what he said. We're going to deport the criminals first. But a judge, the judge I just mentioned, was like, well, you can't do that because there's a thing called due process, right? And I guess even in America, with illegal immigrants, people who are not here legally, they have some rights, I guess, and they have to go through the process. So nevertheless, y'all probably seen the video that was also trending of all of these supposed criminals from Venezuela being transported back. And they were, put on a plane, and they were handcuffed and all of that. And then they showed them going into the prison, shaved their hair off, and, really being dealt with austerely. And so there's a lot of people, especially on the left, that's saying, well, that's not right. You can't do that. And then there's many who are saying a lot of those people weren't criminals. Okay, so whether they were or not, I don't know. Of course, you guys know that President Donald Trump said even before he got elected, hey, when I get up in there, we're deporting people who are not supposed to be here. It's going to be one of the biggest mass deportation plans you've ever seen, right? That's what he said. And so far he has been following through. Although some experts have said, well, it's not to the tune of what he was saying he was going to do. It's still kind of underwhelming at this point. Again, he hasn't even been in office 100 days. I think it's probably 60 or so at this point. Okay, so, but before the deportations, The federal judge told the Trump administration, again, you cannot proceed. Trump did it anyway. He's like, in fact, it says that he used wartime authorities from the 18th century to carry out the deportations. It's called the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. So I'm going to read to y'all the statement that Trump said about the judge. Okay. So he says, he didn't win anything. I won for many reasons in an overwhelming mandate, but fighting illegal immigration may have been the number one reason for this historic victory. Now, of course, he wrote this on his Truth Social platform. And he says, I'm just doing what the voters wanted me to do. This judge, like many of the crooked judges I am forced to appear before, should be impeached. And, he basically called him, I guess a traitor and all kind of other stuff. All right. So nevertheless, Judge Roberts said this, and it's rare. It's rare. Usually the judges, they'll do a dissent or something and they'll release it. But this is what Judge Roberts said in regards to Trump, just doing what he wants. And he says, for more than 2 centuries, it has been established that impeachment is not an appropriate response to disagreement concerning judicial decisions. The normal appellate review process exists for that purpose. So basically, he's saying, Trump, if you don't like the decisions that we or any other federal judge, now that particular judge was put in place by Obama, okay? Now, if you don't like the decision of these federal judges, then there's systems. You can appeal and all these other things, but you cannot usurp the judicial system and do what you want. Again, Trump is saying, yes, I can. And so Justice Roberts is like, no, you can't. So now, of course, everybody has a problem with Justice Roberts. Again, Chief Justice Roberts is very conservative. He was put in the office by George W. Bush, so Bush Jr. in 2003. Okay, very conservative. Now, y'all remember when Trump was seating all these judges, Kavanaugh and Amy, what is her name? Amy Coney Barrett. And everybody was saying, oh my God, he's stacking the courts and they're going to overturn the Constitution and all this other stuff. Well, there's been times where both of those judges have ruled against Trump, right? Now, most notably, the judges, the Supreme Court justices, they ruled in favor of Trump in regards to him having broad immunity. Remember when there was a question of what is he immune from? What can he do and what can he do? Well, they said, yeah, he kind of has immunity because he's a president. And Justice Roberts said, because we don't want our president's hands to be tied in making critical decisions for the country. We don't want them to say, okay, if I make this decision now, when I'm out of office, is it going to come back to haunt me? Am I going to get in trouble? So that's why they ruled that way. Now, again, that wasn't specifically for Trump. It actually came from the Nixon era where Nixon was being sued by a guy by the name of Fitzgerald for something. Basically, Fitzgerald took the fall for something he didn't do, and it cost him his career and all this other stuff. And then later on down the road, he tried to sue Nixon, but the decision came out that you can't do that because he's a president, right? He was trying to sue him civilly. So that's where they got that. It was like a precedent, if you will. That's where they got that ruling from in regards to Trump. But in regards to this one, Justice Roberts is like, no, you got to follow the rules. Appeal the decision if you do not like it. But you were told that you cannot proceed with these mass deportations until we figure out who these people are. Are they indeed, illegal and all that? So none of that was done. So Justice Roberts is saying, yeah, you got to follow the rules. And of course, Trump doesn't like that. So anyway, the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because, again, especially on the left, they're like, oh, Trump is going to be able to do what he wants to do. And the Supreme Court is not going to check him. He's been checked. He has been checked because although he has some powers as the president, he's not all powerful. He is not the most powerful. In Washington, the most powerful entity is actually Congress. The Supreme Court interprets the law. And yeah, they make some rulings in favor of laws that already exist. So he's basically saying, he and Justice Roberts are saying, we agree with the federal judge. It has to go through a process. You cannot do what you want. So anyway, let me get into the comments. and see what you guys have to say about this. I see some comments already. Oh, Lord. All right, where did we go? Journey, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Vince, Varnice, I'm sorry, how you doing? Says checking in from California, my home state, born and raised. Marjorie says Justice Roberts is one of Trump's appointed judges, isn't he? Nope. George W. Bush in 2003. I'm appointing him, so no. But he's a conservative Republican judge, if you will, and most people think, oh, they usually rule on the side of their party. But Justice Roberts, I think he's like, hey, you know what? I'm tired of you. You don't usurp us. We're in place for a reason, right? We're to interpret the law. So yeah, he says once in office, he has a lifetime commitment. Yeah, so who's going to throw him out? You know what I mean? That's why, and I'm glad that you guys know that. There's a process in the system, but Trump can't overthrow Justice Roberts, right? He can't. We know that they often die in those positions. SG, how you doing? Sunlight, how are you? Gerard, what's going on with you? Says Robert was appointed by Bush Jr. Sherry, how you doing? Says I have been seeing where a lot of Democrats are still talking about helping the illegal criminals, especially the ones that are getting deported to other countries. I just wish they will go hard for FBAs. It says innocent FBAs that are in prison here in the U.S. This is why I would never vote Democrat again. And same here. I would never vote Democrat. They got a long way to go. I think their approval rating is like 29%. It's like, yikes, right? They still don't get it. Now they're fighting with each other. I saw Jasmine Crockett taking Chuck Schumer to task, basically saying he's not the end all be all of the Democrat Party, for lack of better words. So they're really starting to prey on each other. Roz, how you doing? Bernice says, I think Roberts was appointed by Bush. Yep, he sure was. Bush Jr. Marjorie says, oh, Bush appointed him. Yep, no worries. Gerard says, they are saying some of them were U.S. citizens and DOJ won't release names of the people deported. Yes, and that's where the issue is, why they wanted them to wait, so we can see who these people are, because you very well may be, deporting people who belong here. Now, of course, there's been reports of some people, like there's a doctor, I guess she went to Lebanon. She went to, I guess, somewhere, I don't know, vacation or something, Lebanon, and she has a green card here. Well, when she was trying to come back, from what I understand, they wouldn't let her, said that she was a Hezbollah sympathizer. Allegedly, she went to somebody's funeral who's against the United States and stuff like that. So they detained her and sent her back. Now, she's a kidney surgeon here in the United States, and they deported her. So the courts are now working through that. They're like, now, the Trump administration, y'all got, I think, gave them 2 days or something like that, or whatever, to figure out why you guys did that to her, and y'all need to have a good reason or whatever to justify why you did it. So it's a lot going on. Daryl says those judges and politicians are all compromised for Supreme Court justice to block the deportation of gang members. He was compromised. I think the issue is, were they actually all gang members? And I'm not saying they not, or they are. I'm just telling you what the consensus is. And did they get due process? Because again, some of them may have been legal. I don't know. So nobody knows really who they are at this point on this side. Now, I'm sure the Venezuelan prison, which is supposed to be one of the most hardened prisons in the world, I'm sure they know who they are, but they're like, who did you deport? That's where the question is, right? So whether they're compromised, I don't know. Indeed, that federal judge was appointed by Obama, but Chief Justice Roberts appointed by Bush, a Republican, even though George Bush does not agree with Trump. So there's that, divide in the Republican Party in regards to a lot of things. K-Mac, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Brother Reggie, what's going on with you? Says a little late to the party. No, you're actually right on time. I started at 5:15 my time and adjust for wherever you are. So we haven't been here that long, less than 15 minutes. James, how you doing? Says, good evening, Sister Demetria. What's going? He says, what's going on? He says, don't tell me those crooked judges ordered those migrant thugs back. They didn't order them back, I don't think. I think they're like, the real issue is, Trump, you cannot usurp us. We are in place for a reason. Your job is executive, not judicial. You cannot overrule us. That's where the point of contention is. And there's due process. You have to follow the law. You can't just do what you want. So that's where the question is, Am I making sense? Michelle, how you doing? Bernice says Roberts is a compromiser along with Barrett. But see, Republicans weren't saying that before, right? They weren't saying that before. But think about it. And I'm not saying they're right or they're wrong, but just think, let's just be logical here. You're talking about the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in the land. And do you guys know that the Supreme Court only hears about 10% of the cases a year that comes to them? So they don't hear everything. So it's kind of like if you get seen or heard before them, you're extremely lucky, right? But think about the entity of the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land. Would you not want them to actually rule by the law? Wouldn't you want them to be more in the center? Even though they are Republican or Democrat, conservative, liberal, wouldn't you want them to be in the middle? Wouldn't you want them to say, okay, let's make sense of this. Let's not rule because I'm a Republican and I don't want to divide from the Republicans, or I don't want to divide from the Democrats, because Ketanji Brown Jackson, she also ruled, I think, in favor of some about affirmative action. And so, don't quote me, but she didn't go along with party lines either on a couple of votes, because a lot of Democrats are like, wait a minute, I thought she was supposed to be. So we kind of want them in the middle. Or do we not? I'm just asking. Candy, how you doing? Herman, what's going on with you? Brenda, he says shalom and blessings to the entire chat. Yes, indeed. Jermarcus, how you doing? He says, I think so. CJ, what's going on with you? And Raven, I hope you're having a great day. The Supreme Court will step in a lot because the Dems are spineless and the Republicans are MAGA directly and indirectly. Yeah, so that's where the middle is supposed to be. They are supposed to be the middle, and most definitely their job is to interpret the law. They're supposed to make sense of it. Okay, Congress, the House and the Senate, y'all came up with this Constitution, right? And they're the only ones that could change the Constitution. It's Congress. So this is what you guys set forth. These are the rules. The Supreme Court job is to say, let's look at the law. Who's right? Who's wrong? According to the letter of the law. That's why they call it the letter of the law, the Constitution. Who's right and who's wrong? Our job is to interpret it and come back with a ruling out of that interpretation, right? But they should be in the middle. That's I would think they should be. Arneva, how you doing? Brother Don, my triple OG moderator, hope you're doing well. CJ says Jasmine Crockett more annoying than Tiffany Henyard. Getting that way, right? Because Tiffany is, what she was anyway, in Dalton on a more local stage until the shenanigans came out, but Jasmine is more on the national stage. Beverly White, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. And Raven says the Congress Republicans I'm referring to. Okay. Marjorie says, I don't get it either. Why is there such a big push for criminals, gangsters who have committed crimes in their own country to live here? It's a dangerous situation and it affects families living right here. And oh, yes, most definitely. They should not be over here, right? They should not be over here at all, especially if indeed they're here illegally. And if they're here legally and they're still they're criminals or whatever, then they shouldn't be here. So don't mistake me in that. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if there's a process here, then it should be followed, right? I don't know. I'm just asking. Miss Sweets, how are you and where have you been? I hope everything is going well for you. Brenda says, I'm really tired of all of this over these immigrants. What about the two twin? Yes, twin situation that just lost their lives. If you ask me, I think they were taken. And I'm going to do some stories on it tomorrow. I have to delve a little bit more deeper into it, but I do know on the surface what it's about. It says no justice for that, though. It says no TV coverage on that. Sad. Yes, and so that is starting to get headlines in regards to the twins. I think it was the Georgia, Stone Mountain. Somehow they missed their flight, and then they found them dead in a mountain somewhere. So how do you go from the airport to the mountains? And so originally the authorities, they ruled it a murder-suicide, saying that I guess one twin took the other one's life and then took his own life. But their family is like, nah, they had everything to live for. None of that was going on in Stone Mountain, Georgia, which is what I understand, a sundowny type of situation. So yeah, it's like, you can't just dismiss that as, oh, well, they were unhappy and they just, took each other's lives. I'm not buying it. So yeah, that should be getting more coverage. Sherry says, of course, George Bush does not agree with Trump deporting illegals. His brother is married to a Mexican woman. Okay. Sister Shirley says they will do anything for the illegal immigrants, but not ADOS, FBA, freedmen. Yeah, they will. Jasmine Crockett is one of them. She's running around screaming and hollering about, the migrants. They're hard workers and they put a lot into this economy. And I rarely ever hear her, die on a hill for Black Americans. I rarely ever hear her do it. I mostly hear her talking about the immigrants that are over here and they should not be here. So there's a lot going on, And Varnice, she says, but if illegal criminal aliens enter the country illegally, isn't the president's job to execute the law to get them out? Yes, but you have to prove that they are actually that. Because there has been some cases where there's been people erroneously deported. You know what I mean? So you can't just snatch people off the street and say, hey, I'm going to, deport you. And I'm saying that from a person who was in the DR, the Dominican Republic, and they tried to snatch me and my daughter off the street because we looked Haitian. They thought we were Haitian because, they got a hate relationship. Ain't even no love, right? A hate relationship with Haitians because they're right there on the same, island, Hispaniola. And Haitians come over there seeking a better life or whatever it is, I guess. And the Dominicans, they don't like that. But they tried to snatch me and my daughter off the street without due process. Didn't say, hardly 2 words to us. And they put their hands on us. So you got to kind of figure out who people are before you just go deport them. So that's where the issue is, not the fact that they're illegal and they should be here. Again, they shouldn't be. But are they indeed that? That's where the question is. Siku, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Maxwell, what's going on with you? Says, hello, Miss Demetra K. I really don't care. Send them all away. Due process. Be damned. Yeah, I get it. I don't have a dog in the fight, but but they just need to figure out who they are, because indeed, what if they do that to somebody, and they do it to us all the time, right? Not that I'm trying to compare ourselves to them, but it's due process. Gerard says the Supreme Court didn't check him yet. Robert said one sentence, which again, I said was rare. It was rare. It's a rare statement that he made. Says Trump is already showing he will do whatever, regardless of what any court says. And what army does the court have to make him? Well, that's in part. And Donovan, when he comes, if he comes, he can speak to that. Why the military is there. The military is there for a whole lot of reasons. It's not just to go drop bombs on other countries. It's also to keep law and order here. And that also includes the president. If I look at other countries, they do military coups all the time. So that they're Trump ain't just really off the leash and doing whatever he wants. I'm like, damn, what's that? It's the wind out there. If for whatever reason I go out, I'll have to come back on my phone, y'all. So don't go nowhere. Let's see here. CJ says the case escalated. That case escalated quickly. And Gerard says following court orders in an honor system, and president is in charge of the system that could put him in jail. Brenda Lee, what's going on? Says yes, but they're siding with the DNC too much. And who is this they? I'm sorry, I'm probably so behind. Ross says same thing happened to German immigrant who came back from a visit to Germany. He said his visa was still legal. Yes, so that's where the issue is. Okay, I'm gonna skip down. Matthew, how you doing? Says, will they realize and change on how they are treated? Now they are living on how it is to be Black. Yes, there you go. James says, knowing their poll numbers at 26% shows how desperate they are. They he says, leave us, or just leave us FBAs alone. They should by now know it's not going to work. Okay. Sherry says, I just want to know why the old Jim Crow Joe opened up the borders. No one is telling us why. Whatever the reason was, their plan and did not go like they thought it was. It says they did not come over here to act right. Not all of them anyway. Yeah, well, a lot of us believe it was a replacement type of situation. We trying to bring people in to replace people. And then the app that the Democrats fashioned so that they can come over here easily and know where to go and all of that. Well, the Trump administration, they use that app to basically say, go home. You can self-deport. It's better you self-deport. We'll help you get out of here. But if we catch you, then you're never going to be able to come back over here again. But if you leave on your own, then you have a chance to come back legally. So they're using that same app to say, now go home, if you will. All right, all right. CJ says people get so upset when they say they shouldn't be here. Why is it okay for other nations to have entry and security protocol, but not us? I agree with you. Okay, Dark Matter. He says, yeah, so blue, Bell Mountain, Georgia. Okay, Bell Mountain. Got you. Brenda, he says, Georgia, and it's a sundown town. That's what I understand. Matthew says, who drove them to the airport? I don't know all of that, but I plan to get all of the details when I study it tomorrow. Sunlight says, and Justice Robert still has not received justice. I'm sorry. And I don't know why I said Justice Robert. And Robert Brooks still has not received justice. I don't even hear his name anymore. Just like all the rest. Robert Brooks. Refresh my memory. Name sounds familiar, but like you said, there's so many of them. He's the one. Refresh my memory because I don't want to get it wrong. Navo, how you doing? It says you're exactly right. We want them to rule by letter of the law, be in the middle. By the way, you're now. Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. It says continue the good work that you are doing. Love and appreciate you for that. Your average logical thinker. Did I say hello to you? If not, hello. He says yes. That story is heartbreaking. Yeah, I don't believe those brothers did that to themselves. Shan, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Bernie says true about Jeb Bush's wife. Okay. Georgia Rose, how you doing? Long time no see. Carrie, what's going on with you? Shane says, what I want to know is why are we Americans still paying for the illegals and not paying the African-American community for reparations? Well, you know why? They don't want us to have it. They don't want us to have any liberation at all, even financially. The migrants, they want them to come over here. It's been theorized that to replace us, right? So that's why they don't think that we deserve reparations, even though we're going to get it. Whether they want us to or not, we'll get it. Bobby Williams, how you doing? Oh, thank you so much. You the best. Rod says, I heard that a Black Republican man is coming for Jasmine Crockett's seat. Says he's been asked questions about her campaign donations. Yes, Sheldon Daniels is his name. Sheldon Daniels. He's a lawyer there in Dallas. And he says, yeah, I'm going to replace her because she's running around. She's trying to be famous. She's trying to get discovered. Cookie with Miss D, how you doing? Carrie says, I have a nephew who looks Arabian. Yeah, I mean, if he looks the part, he could get gaffled up, you know. God is intellect. How you doing? Thank you. You got a question, Shan? Okay, what's your question? Georgia Rose says the twins were found in North Georgia mountains, Hiawassee. I know I probably said Hiawassee. Is that how you say it? Georgia? Almost 2 hours away from their home. Yeah, so why would they be there? You know, but just to dismiss it that they just took their lives, I don't know. Arneva says it would be brutal if they deported the wrong person down there. Yes, and especially put them in a prison, you know, like that, and they ain't supposed to be there. Come on now. Daryl says, imagine if the Caribbean could get on code, Black Americans would visit and create more financial opportunities. Yeah, I never will go to the DR again. Never. Matthew says, now the immigrants get to see how you're guilty first without checking paperwork first, just like Black Americans are. Yes, indeed. Novel says, why is this so hard for people to understand? Yes, we all being FBAs want the illegal immigrants to get the F out, but I have to make sure that they are illegal first. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I see, we here. Andrea, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Brother Jonell, how are you? Bakari, what's going on with you? Thank you. James says she insulted us FBA men that we should accept those illegal immigrants, saying they do. And your comment cut off. Michelle, how you doing? Says we can't just deport people without due process. If you're in agreement with that, you are wrong. It says, I think if you're not in agreement with that, yeah, I mean, make sure these people need to be deported first. Now, that's where the issue is. Let's see who these people are before you just put people on planes and ship them to prison, you know, because some of those people might have been here illegal, but did they deserve to go to prison? Because they said a lot of them didn't even have rap sheets, from what I understand. So yeah, you gotta go, but go to prison. Just drop me off at the border, okay? Drop me off at the border, but don't be putting me in prison, you know. So I don't know. Raven says, there's levels to the presidency beyond Trump, and there's levels, which is the real power is not going to let Trump run totally free like a rabid dog. Yeah, that's what the military's for. Like, okay, that's enough. You know, your average logical thinker, and your average logical thinker, shoot, she's in the military. She can tell y'all that Trump ain't going to just be up there doing whatever he wants. He says the government will never tell the public the real reason why they do things, but we ain't stupid. Yep. And Shirley says the Democrats are trying to stay in power, votes and cheap labor for them. There you go. Marjorie says, well, I hate to say, always carry your state driver's license identification card on you in your phone, just in case these ICE agents of Mexican, Asian, Ukraine, African, German, Arab, etc. grab you. Absolutely, because you never know, right? They might say, you look Puerto Rican, well, Puerto Rican is the United States, but you look Dominican to me. And I saw the White House put up a picture of, at first I didn't know if it was a man or a woman, but they said that she was a big time fentanyl dealer, and they caught her and they're going to deport her and all of that. So, let's see. Daryl says, I get why people want to make sure the prisons they're going to in El Salvador has a few innocent people locked away. Also, yeah, you might be putting some people who just was over here legally that just needs to go back. But the prison, nah, that's wrong. Missions Vision, how you doing? Brenda Lee says, Robert Brooks is the person that was killed by a correctional officer. Yes. And unfortunately, there's so many to where it's like we have to kind of say, do a refresher. Yes, but you're absolutely right. That's who he is. And I actually did a story on him. Yeah, what's going on with that? I do know that some of those officers, I don't know if they were charged, but now there's this investigation is like blah, 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 right? They need to go to jail and hell forever. Sunlight says, Demetria, the guy in New York that was beaten. Okay, got you on body cam. Mr. South Carolina, how you doing? Says Trump said taking the fifth is for criminals, so he got the U.S. presidency to commit crimes. He got in there, and it's my take that I think most of them have committed crimes. Shan says trailer park in Georgia, right here. Okay, so it's close to a trailer park. Bernie's, how you doing? He says your natural hair looks great. Well, thank you. This is my go-to hairstyle right now. It was kind of hot today. Gerard says, I was saying Trump's Justice Department will not hold him accountable for not following court order. He says, we'll see if the army leaders he's picking will keep him in check. That's kind of their job, joint, what do they call them? Joint chiefs of, is it power? Don't give me the line. I'm talking above my head, but that's their job in a way. He can't. He does not have just can do whatever he wants, unbeknownst to him. Ms. D says kudos. We're getting our reparations. Oh yeah, we're gonna get them. Brother Jonell says no one is illegal on a stolen land. Our reparations matter. They just need to print the money, cut the check. Cut the black nation our check and land. Absolutely, that's what we want. And Brother Reddy says illegals were brought in to replace black folks. Y'all remember the secretly recorded meeting where Biden told the black leaders, quote unquote, they better get down with the Latino immigrants. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And that was the plan. No, you quoted it right. You got it right. James, he says, Sister Demetria, that last chat was bad. He says, I have removed it, but somehow it still went through. Yeah, on my end, it doesn't erase for whatever reason, but on your end, it does. But my end, it doesn't. So got you. Thank you, Miss Sweets, for asking everybody to hit the button. Thank you. Facts Not Feelings, how you doing? Says peace and love, family. Did you hear Dems are backing the south of the border gangs and don't want them to be removed from the country when gangs are here? They target black people. They got to go. Yeah, I did hear that. So the Democrats are tripping, which is why they're not in office and which is why they have a very low approval rating, 29% from what I understand. It's pretty low. So, damn. He says illegal people need to be deported. Totally agree with you. Bakari says, I'm totally against, it says tyranny. Is that what you mean? Or tyranny. He says, but let's be real. Mistakes will happen because of the reckless policies of the previous Biden administration. Oh, yeah. I agree with. Facts Not Feelings says, keep in mind, they broke the law when they came across illegally while others waited years in line to get the documents. Yeah. So, but again, they need to make sure that all of those people are actually here illegally. And they have deported people who are not here illegally. So thank you, Bernies. I appreciate you. He says they were not entering the country. Now y'all want to vet them before being deported. Some of y'all sound crazy. So the people who are here illegally, yeah. But you can't deport people who are here legally. That's where the issue is. Because it's giving what is it? Salem witch hunt. Back in the day when they was just, that's a witch. Great. Let's burn them at the stake, right? You actually want to make sure people deserve to be deported. You know what I mean? So Yeah. Margie says, my grandchildren look Hispanic and Puerto Rican, but are biracial. He says, black father, white mother. He says they can speak Spanish because it was required in their schools, also French too. Okay. Shan says immigrants are doing whatever they can to try to stay in America. Okay, yeah, they are. Chicago News, how you doing? He says Chicago don't care. Men, women, children, send them all back. They got what black men and women, children never got. I totally agree. I'm not saying they shouldn't be sent back, but I think two conversations could be had at once. They're here illegally, they need to be, if they're here illegally, they need to be sent back. But make sure you're sending the right people back. There are people who could be full-blown American citizens getting shipped up out of here. Like, wait a minute, what are we doing? So just need to make sure that's what's going on. Sound man, how you doing? Long time no see. Bernie says Biden didn't follow court orders concerning student loans. Was that okay? You got to follow the law. And a lot of those cases, the Supreme Court and federal judges block those as well. So I maybe we need a reset here. Maybe we need a reset because Biden did it and it was wrong. Don't mean Trump can do it. Can we have that conversation? Did y'all ever hear me say that what Biden did illegally was wrong? Some of y'all may be new here. I don't know if you're new here. Check my record, okay? But my record also is I'm in the middle too when it comes to logic. I don't think, or I try not to anyway, with emotions. I try to really be logical with things. So yes, Biden has done a lot of things that are considered, illegal and unconstitutional. Judges have ruled against him too. There's a lot of people who didn't get their student loans forgiven. Because one does it don't mean that they all should do it. Does that make sense? I don't know. Bakari says they are taking Moorish American resources without being U.S. national. Take them to people that are benefiting from our struggles. He says, yet with the utmost disrespect, they never acknowledge or pay homage. Absolutely. And Brother Jonas says staff. And I'm sorry, what's that in regards to it? Antoine, how you doing? It says Joint Chiefs of Staff. There you go. Because like I said, that started to go with that, but I was like, maybe that's not right. But thank you so much. Bernie says that chat been watching too much. This chat been watching too much CNN. I don't know. I don't watch CNN at all. So I don't watch a whole lot of TV and CNN. I don't even have cable. So I don't have the ability to watch CNN. I know you could probably see it on your app or your phone somewhere. Thank you, Maxwell. Facts Not Feeling says 6 of the officers were charged and got bail immediately in Robert Brooks' illegal torture and deletion case. There was another similar case in the Sing Sing jail up in New York. They happen all over in every prison and jail. There are people who are being taken out of here by the staff. So, Shannon says, Google how should be the right how should be the right way it should be in freaking jail for real. I don't know what that maybe retype that because it's kind of jumbled. My apologies. Bakari says old slaves versus the new slaves 1,000. Correct. Okay. Matthew says question, if you have a Spanish speaking name but you're American, would they grab you up? I don't know. Raven says the DMV in California has an enforcement squad in cities, mines included, and they are Walmart searching cars for expired tags and tinted windows, and a lot of Hispanics are being targeted. Yeah, in California of all places, right? Facts Not Feeling says Biden knew exactly what the plan was when he said you blacks better learn to get along with the Hispanics. Absolutely. CJ says anyone who enters a country without going through the proper channels can be equated to an infiltrator. I dig it. I can dig it. Chicago News says who should get reparations? Old blacks that work on the plantation and split the money with surviving family members, or every black person? Every black American person, right, with descendants of slavery should get reparations because our ancestors never got them and we were robbed of generational wealth. So black Americans should get it. All right, let me skip down a little bit, y'all, so I can catch up. James says, yes, it's all at an all-time low of 26%. So why not make worse? He says, we FBAs need to really pull together and give those Democrats the Brandon Johnson special. How 6% sound good? My FBA brothers and sisters. Yeah, is that where he's at? Yikes. Yeah, he might as well not even try to run. Magnetter, how you doing? Long time no see. You really have been missing in action, but I'm glad that you're back. Biz, what's going on with you? Said sorry to get off topic, but have anyone heard about Tiffany's farm? YouTube channel had their black farm get burned down twice. Nope, that's I have not heard it, but I will definitely look it up. Tiffany's farm, I will check it out. Miss Sweetie says makes a lot of sense. I'm just asking because sometimes I'm not always coherent. Sometimes I say stuff and I'm like, what? Chicago News, she says all illegals in Chicago from Lightfoot to Johnson, send them all back. I'm with it. Bernie, she says it's probably, and thank you so much. He says it's probably good to be scared. Maybe it will help keep our kids in the house since we look at Arabic, right? You can keep your own kids in the house. But yeah, you never know. Kids come up missing, so your wife, your husband, damn, they was just going to the store. And then you get a call from a jail. Help! They didn't shave my head. They got me in this Venezuelan jail. I was just going to Kroger. It really wasn't all that funny, but just the thought, right? You thinking your spouse went to the store, they missing, you got an APB out on them, and Trump and snatched them up. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Somebody's like, hey, where you been? A wife said to her husband, where you been? Oh man, I got snatched up. I got snatched up by Trump, and he just out there cheating, right? He's gone for like 2 weeks with a side piece, and he lying, talking about Trump snatched me up. Okay, for real, let's get serious. Sharon, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Bobby, thank you so much for that. I love and appreciate you. Says, will I marry you? You know what? I just might. But thank you so much. Thank you. Hey, James, how you doing? He says, Sister Demetria, I miss you. I love you. Okay, I love you too. He says, I have a Barry White song for you. Look at Her, the Man album. And I saw that really nice picture of you with your cowgirl hat. Yeah, thank you. I went to the rodeo to see Journey, but they had a fire on the stage and that didn't go over so well. And they sent us a thing yesterday, said, do you want your tickets back or do you want to donate them to charity? He's like, no, we want our money back. Maxwell says, I was being facetious when I said due process be darned. Okay, he says, of course, get them out of here legally. Peace. Got you. All right. Antoine says, tyranny. This is why the Second Amendment is supposed to matter, to fight against tyrannical government. He says, so where are all these white folks who supposed to have all these pew-pews and they around? You could best believe that. All right, let me skip down. Bernie says he maybe now says we'll keep our youth off the streets. Yeah, you might want to, because getting snatched up ain't cool. Brenda says, yes, I totally agree with you, D. We have to use logic, but the DNC were operating without the Constitution in mind, i.e. the 14th Amendment. And that's why they're not in office now, right? That's why they have lost power. They're not in office because of the stuff that they were doing. And that's what you're supposed to do. Supposed to vote them out. And they're not going to get back in office no time soon because they're still acting silly. They're still doing and saying ridiculous stuff. Chuck Schumer, I think his time is up there, and they all mad at him because he was supposed to go in there and stand on business. We're not agreeing with the budget with the Republicans, and he went in and says, well, all right, maybe this time. So it's a lot. Vernice, she says, stop watching legacy media, CNN. Yeah, I don't even have cable. Facts Not Feeling says, if you're a citizen, permanent resident alien, and you get deported by ICE to some other country, you probably will not have to work again because the cash value of that lawsuit will be huge. And that's happened to a lot of people. Like I said, there's a doctor, she's a kidney doctor over here, and she's here legally. She has a green card status. She's a kidney surgeon, and there's a lot of people who are waiting for her to come back, but they deported her because they said she went to, she's a Hezbollah sympathizer or something like that. She went back home to Lebanon, and they said, yeah, they deported her actually at the airport for like 36 hours before they sent her back. So you got to just make sure. Yeah, we all look alike. You ain't lying, Bernice. Jive Turkey, how you doing? You says Bobby Williams. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all have that. Sunlight says, Demetria, Jackie Johnson got her case dismissed. Yes. And Ahmaud Arbery case So many distractions and so much injustices. Yeah, that was like what a month ago at this point, they dropped the case. They're supposed to be charging her something or trying her on something of a lesser charge, but it's like, what's the point? She's the one that was obstructing the case. Like, yeah, I know y'all shot him dead. The 3 guys that are now in jail forever, she was blocking because they are all they know each other and stuff, and she was hindering the case. So Marjorie says, even in Utah, my best friend's son was unalived by a white supremacist officer in the jail. They won their lawsuit. Yeah, it's like, but you taking our kids' lives, you know? Miss D says, so much is going on in this world. I can't keep up with everything. You and me both. All right. Magneto says, glad you're well. I've just been busy. I also moved to the West Coast. The West Coast, the best coast. Says, I like it better out here. Yes, I love California. What part of the West Coast might I add? Obviously California, but there's other places. There's nothing like it. Nothing like California for me anyway. Reggie says, I hope Whoopi Cushion, you crazy, and Cloudy Hostin self-deport. They can join Rosie O'Donnell over there in Ireland. Yeah, she took off. She's like, I'm out of here. It's like, I don't even know if we would ever know you were missing. You're gone, you know? Maybe we'd have thought she got deported. I don't know. Bernie says, maybe this will help clear up our streets. Yeah, stay in the house because they snatching people up. Fast Not Feeling says, that's not funny. That's effed up. I'm just saying. You go to the store, you getting taken to Venezuela. I'm just saying, so we need to be careful of the stuff that we co-sign. It's windy out there. Brother Reggie, I know I'm crazy. CJ says, oh, black folks would drag it if they got accidentally snatched up. All right. And I'm speaking from a person who almost got snatched up. So in the DR. Jane says, where's the cream of wheat? Django, Uncle Ben's Rice Man, we sick boss, Jim Crow, Django, Clyburn. Damn. At these days, I guess he can't find his chef hat. He chilling like a villain. He's like, I ain't got no power. Biden ain't in office, so who can I suck up to? So he just biding his time, I guess. I don't know. All right, let's see. I thought I was getting to the bottom, but clearly I'm wrong. Okay, here we go. Marty says, yes, they have white supremacists burning down barns and crops. Law enforcement is being nonchalant about it. Yeah, because they the ones under the hood a lot of times, right? Derek, how you doing? Says, we don't care about deporting gang members, sis. Did I say I care? I don't care. We just need to make sure they're that. Because it said that some of them ain't, right? So they need to make sure they're doing that, right? You can't just be snatching people up. There's just, again, going to Kroger, whatever they're doing, they're legally here and deporting them. So that's where the issue is. I didn't say we cared about gang members being snatched up. Now, again, check my resume. I've done plenty of stories on these Venezuelan gangs and the stuff that they have done. And there's some over here that killed a little 14-year-old girl. Jocelyn is her name. They did some horrible things to her, So yeah, those people need to go. You're never gonna get any dispute from me. I hope I'm clear. Bernie says Black Americans with lineage are the true FBAs. Yes, indeed. Strong and humble. How you doing? Long time no see. Says Demetri K is the first Black woman I know of that like Journey. Wow, I like them too. Really? I'm sure that there's other Black women out there that like Journey. I've liked them since I was a kid, so I don't know. CJ says, honestly, I don't understand how in the world anyone who is American is against Congress and these sorry parties prioritizing Americans. Okay. Antoine says, a doctor from Rhode Island. Is that the one, the kidney doctor? We're talking about the same person. Reggie says, while green card holders can live and work in the United States and enjoy most of the same benefits as U.S. citizens, permanent residents are not U.S. citizens. Yes, that is 100% correct. Green card status, you're a permanent resident, but not a citizen. So different things, but they're here legally. They have permission, I guess, if you will. He says, and because of this, do not have full rights of a citizen. Yeah, so there's some things that they can be revoked. And even with that doctor, in the case of the doctor, the judge is like, where's your evidence that she was over there supporting Hezbollah? Where's your evidence? So that's where the point of contention is with her. Hey, Diane, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Who had Young Thug's lawyer? And Reggie says, so they better be careful over there talking about that support terrorist groups. Yeah, you being watched, especially, right? Exotic, how you doing? Says the Irish don't want Rosie either. Rella, how you doing? Says Oakland says hi. I was born in Oakland. Well, Berkeley. My family lived in, Oakland. So I was born in Northern California, but raised in Southern California. But welcome. Hey, Donovan, he says they didn't lock me up. The court is out of order. He says they couldn't handle the truth. Yeah, I bet you. Mm-hmm. Sunlight says, Demetria, Black people need to take note of the president of Burkina Faso. Yes, Ibrahim Traore. He says, we can implement some of those practices in our neighborhoods. We have enough lumpen proletariats to make it happen. Oh, yeah, it's going to happen. And I know where you're going with that, but definitely it is going to happen. We see it unfolding before our very eyes. And unfortunately for Elon Musk, they burning up Teslas every day. They burnt up some in Vegas. They burnt up some in the Vegas dealership this morning. And the stock is every day plummeting. Reggie says, Return of the Body Snatcher 2025, starting Tom Holman. Right, starring Tom Holman. I mean, I'm not trying to make light of it, but just think about it. You're la-di-da-di-da. You just walking along and snatch. Oh, man, let me stop. Brother Jodell says, majority program to believe that worthless paper is greater than life. We must decolonize fully. Yes, indeed. We have no choice at this point. We're watching everything that's been prophesized unfold before our very eyes. James, okay, so you talked to Sunlight. Let's see. And Saint LLC, I hope I said that right. I know I always jack it up. How you doing? It says, I'm the other Black woman who loves Journey. There you go. Antoine says, yes, the kidney doctor. Okay, got it. Yes, so the kidney doctor. Queen, Yasmin, how you doing? He says, because the Democrat judges are blocking them. Yes, so again, that particular judge was appointed by Obama. But then Justice Roberts, who was a conservative, is like, yeah, no, you gotta, it's due process. If you don't like the decision, appeal it. That's what the appellate court is for. And he's talking to Trump, appeal. But you can't just say, I'm gonna do what I want. You have to use the system. That's what the appellate court is for. You don't like that decision, then try again with somebody else who may say, you know what? Because the appellate court is above that. So keep taking it up until you can't get it. You get the last no. That's all they're saying, right? So Justice Robert, who's a conservative, was like, yeah, you got to go through the system, Trump. You can't just go do what you want, I guess. Hey, Catherine, how you doing? Yep, I got 8 more minutes. Donovan says Ireland has more restrictive deletion laws of the babies than U.S. The irony, yeah. Well, a lot of them said, and Ellen DeGeneres, she left too. Her and her woman, they're in, I forget where they went. Are they in Ireland too? So I don't know. They left as well. So. Magneto says, Demetria, really? I'm in Vegas. I'll look it up. Okay. Oh, yeah. Look it up. About the dealer. The dealership, the Tesla dealers, Chip, they lit some on fire. And it's almost like every day you're hearing about some of those dealerships being lit on fire. The Teslas, people who own Teslas, their cars are getting vandalized and a whole host of other stuff. So his stock is garbage. And they said that some of the CEOs, they sold off Tesla sold off 100 million. Was it 100 million? They got 100 million stocks. They're just offloading them. So, and they said people who play the stock market made about $16 billion, I guess, shorting the stock, betting against the stock. So, yeah, it's not looking good for Elon right now. But again, you can't do mean stuff to people and think people are just going to go along with it. The Democrats are the ones that were going to buy the Teslas. That's kind of like a liberal car. And there you go. Yes, CJ says, I saw a Tesla bumper sticker that says, I bought this before Elon went crazy. Yeah, it said people are putting that kind of stuff on their cars. So, I ain't with the foolishness. Don't be keying up my car. Queen Yasmin, he says that judge should be impeached. Okay. Well, that's where Justice Roberts says, no, you can't go around impeaching judges because they don't agree with you. Use the system. Because Trump was like, he needs to be impeached. And he's like, no, you can't. Use the appellate system like everybody else does. You don't like the ruling, appeal it. That's what he said. And again, I'm just telling y'all the common sense approach. I know, what a lot of people say, especially if you're a Republican or you agree with Trump or you disagree with Trump. I get it, but I'm just trying to rule like I'm a damn judge. I'm trying to come at it from a common sense, more fact-based approach, opposed from emotions. I get it. You know what I mean? But when you're logical, then you're able to take in a little bit more information. That's different from emotions. And at best, mix the emotions with logic. That way you'll come a little bit more to the center, closer to the truth, whatever that is. Hey, Brother Damon, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Brother Reddy says, damn, an appeals court, Donald Trump, pretty much, right? Brother Dine says, I was the black guy at the Journey concert. On the way there, I popped in the greatest hit CD. Yeah, and they said too, a lot of people travel far and wide. I know they were in Highland, California this last Saturday, but people travel from all over the country to go to the rodeo to see them. The stadium was packed, 70,000 seats. That's what the NRG Stadium seats, packed. And a fire happened. And James says, one thing certain, I'll buy Maxwell Chickambusto self-powered car before I buy those trashy cars from Tesla. Yuck. And then the Chinese, they have one too. They said that's giving Tesla a run for his money. Old man Madden, he says, goof. What does that mean? Sunlight says, Demetri K. Black Americans need a resistance movement. Nothing will be solved electorally. Yeah, the best resistance movement we can do is organize. That's the best resistance that we can put together. Is organize. We've always heard that Black unity is a threat to the rest of the country. So as long as we're not unified, there's no resistance. But when we're unified, that's what the resistance is. Take our money out of the oppressive system. Let's build our own, do for self, right? That's what the actual resistance is. But you're right. Going to vote, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I told us that. No matter who's in the White House, they're not going to do for Black people, whether it's liberal or conservative. So we got to do for ourselves. But the resistance comes when we unify all day. Brother Reddy says, Ellen DeGeneres and her, you crazy, Muffin went to the UK. Bernie says, Kanye and Griffin want Trump to pardon R. Kelly. Now that is funny. That's really funny. Marjorie, it says, I noticed, it says, these young people who are wearing hairstyles like they are Haitian or Jamaican, copying rappers who are need to reconsider this concept since ICE is deporting Haitians and Jamaican people. Come on now. Biz says, Tom Homan going to make them hire Liam from Taken. Yep. Because he going to be having to look for a whole lot of people. I'm not going to laugh no more. Matthew says, I can hear Hispanics and immigrants saying, wow, being arrested, I'm Black, I eat chitlins, you better stop. Oh, really? How you doing? Says, time to buy. Talking about Tesla stock. Yeah. Mr. Norris, how you doing? Says, I bet Elon wished he never Trump. He says, I think he meant supported Trump. Is that what you're trying to say? Should have stayed in South Africa. Laugh out loud. Yeah, it's all fun and games laughing at people losing their jobs until those people who lost their jobs can't buy your cars anymore. You know what I mean? So he's on Twitter all day long basically saying, it's not fair what y'all doing to me. It's like, really? What did you think was going to happen? Donnie says, they all heard the Jeffrey's book was coming out, so they like, we out. Oh, you talking about Jeffrey Epstein? Yeah, right. Brenda Lee says, Dimitri, dear, you need to do a segment on the mega prison. I said, CCOT in El Salvador. Whew. It says, I'm sorry, it skipped up. Hold on 1 second. He says, in El Salvador, there, you're guilty until proven innocent. You can be kept there up to 2 years before being released. Yeah, that's scary. But I've heard a lot about it. Joanne, how you doing? Says, I guess Elon FAFO, he was crying on TV. Yep, and all day on X crying about it's not right. Oh, gosh. It's like, dude, you're rich. I guess still the richest man in the world. You'll be all right, you know? But you laughing at people losing their jobs. I'm not saying they shouldn't have gotten rid of waste and fraud. Yeah, you should. But holding up a chainsaw. It ain't funny no more, huh? That's why I say we got to be careful of how we treat other people, because you can still be the richest man in the world and still be harmed financially. Queen Yashmini says a process is for American citizens. Correct. Which is where the point of contention is. Make sure you ain't deporting American citizens or people who are here illegally. That's the point of contention. And, I don't know if y'all think that I'm saying that they shouldn't be deported. If you're here illegal, and listen, I ain't going to keep talking. Y'all know how I feel. Facts Not Feeling says a couple years back, Elon was mocking the Tesla short sellers. Now they're laughing all the way to the bank. $16 billion richer. Joanne says, impeaching the judge would serve no purpose. Trump is still not the king in charge. There you go. That's the point. Ms. D, they went to England. And Jamila, how you doing? Says, hey, Demetri, I saw your video about the white lady speaking in that black lady's face. I think I was more upset that the black lady didn't defend herself. Had that been another black lady. You know what? I said that under the comment, one of the comments on social media that I saw. Like, black women got smoked from other black people, but that white lady spit in your face and her and her husband hit you and all that, and you're, acting appalled. Man, I'd have tore that damn graduation up. Woo! We would have graduated, all right. Somebody would have graduated from Earth. That's all I'm saying, okay? Hey, Maureen, how you doing? James says Philip Scott needs to run for president. I second that emotion. I don't know if he'd want to, though. Y'all, I don't think y'all want him in charge. I don't know if it's the Neo CJ. I think it's something else. The Chinese car. It might be, but I think it's another name that's supposed to be, it charges in like 5 to 8 minutes. You said it's kind of like the gasoline experience where you're sitting there at the pump, you fill up your car. It's supposed to take about that same amount of time to charge your car fully. So you also say, Tesla has those smart planes too. Yep. Exotic, he says, Timu, Tesla, you crazy. Norris says, I bet Elon wish he never met Trump. There you go. Should have stayed in South Africa. Yeah, well, you have to learn the hard way. Marjorie says, question, does anyone think that this will be the last presidential election in America? I don't know. I know Farrakhan said in 2017, when Trump was a president, that he's going to be the last president. He says, I think. And then here he is again, really doing a lot. So I don't know. It remains to be seen. Oh, okay, got you. Maddie says, I meant to say good. Okay, I'm like, you calling me a goof? I'm just playing. Yo, Hans, how you doing? Long time no see. Says, now is the time to get your stuff together. Come on now. I've been telling my daughter that. Said, and not the time to be playing. Magneto says, I want a Toyota for my next ride. Okay, those cars are expensive. Hopefully they're going to come down soon. Michelle says, if you look at the criminals Trump and Biden pardon, for them to pardon R. Kelly is not a stretch. I agree, but yeah, R. Kelly, I don't know. It's a tragic situation on so many levels. But he ain't innocent. To lock the man away, though, for the rest of his life, I don't know. Yeah. Daryl says, I think Cop City in Atlanta will be like that El Salvadorian prison. Ooh. Antoine says the U.S. has 100% tariff on Chinese electrical vehicles. That's why they aren't sold in the United States. Yeah, and they were saying something too about the charging stations and all of that entails to go with that. That's still not thought of too. So yeah, there's a lot going on with that. Facts Not Feeling says a Chinese EV beat Tesla all day. Chinese cars can shake off snow. I heard about that. Says jump and drive back home and park itself in your garage and close the garage. Insane level of tech going on in China. Yep. James says when Musty Muss down fell flat, Trump going to throw him under the bus, and just as he's done so many. Yeah, and that Trump has done, right? A lot of them got out of jail not too long ago. CJ says if he doesn't hush, the way he handled that layoff situation was so unprofessional, especially him. Like, dude, you're a guest and weren't elected. Do what you were appointed to do and hush. Yeah, get rid of the waste and fraud, but all that other stuff you're doing is a lot. Brother Reggie says, I agree, Demetri, but y'all can y'all please deport Rolanda Martin back to Haiti? You crazy. He better not take his ass off on no grandma cookies. That's for sure. He might get gaffled up. Magneto, thank you so much. Once again, says, I'm a federal employee. I'm not going to laugh. Read Proverbs 24:17. Vengeance is the Lord. Yeah. And it's not funny that people are losing their jobs. It's horrible. People's jobs, especially any job, whether it's Taco Bell or federal job, that it's tied to somebody's livelihood. You know, people are paying to live with jobs. And as I always said, those federal workers, they didn't create those jobs. Those jobs were created and they applied for the job and they got the job, right? So I don't know if they're necessarily involved with the fraud and the waste and stuff, but to laugh at people losing their job, that ain't cool. As Edgy says, Trump said, not buying Tesla is domestic terrorism. Ain't that some mess? Because your homeboy is getting towed up in the stock market and stuff. Nobody wants his cars. That's domestic terrorism. First of all, most people can't even afford a Tesla. So what is he talking about? You know, Kenneth Jackson, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. James says, Elon, you dug a hole for one. 3 people digging a hole for you. Uh-oh. Aaliyah, how you doing? Leon, what's going on with you? Says, while everyone is running around in chaos, Friedman need to be solidifying our unity and setting an agenda as well as a plan for action. There you go. Now ain't the time to be sitting around eating popcorn. Daryl says, Musk will survive. His brain chip and rocket companies will make more than Tesla. They might, you know, but don't be on there crying about it. You know, also it's called BYD. Yes. The name of the car. Yes. Oh, really? Did I say hello to you? If not, hello. All right, let's see. Brother Don says they were Black Americans. It was in Europe somewhere. Okay. You also say they weren't Black Americans. You said they weren't Black Americans. It was in Europe somewhere. And I'm sorry, I don't know what that is in regards to. My apologies. Bernie says the astronauts just landed thanks to Elon. Yes. So the astronauts that were stuck in space during the Biden administration for 9 months. I think it was about 9 months or so. And they were only supposed to be there, I don't know, not that long, was a couple of weeks or so. And they got stuck. So yeah, Elon did go get them. So I'm glad that they are home, because being stuck in space indefinitely, they said they could be up there to next year. That's how much stuff they had. But I can only imagine. I'd be like, listen, I'm ready to go home now. Okay. Suck this aircraft or whatever this spacecraft down back to Earth. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that. But yes, Elon did play a big role in that. So yes, CJ says, right, all of these distractions means we need to prepare ourselves. Yep, playtime is over. Hey, Brother Perry, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Yes, Magnetic is Shake Off Snow. Very high tech. Bernie says R. Kelly music is still top streaming and he's not getting his residuals. Did you hear him do that challenge from jail, the Chris Brown residual challenge? And he said all of that. But yeah, he's been robbed too. You know, as far as his masters and all that. Same old George Clinton. He's got $100 million lawsuit. I think it's against, is it UMG? Don't quote me. Just like Angie Stone, she wanted her money. Like y'all got our money. We should be wealthy. I mean, George Clinton doesn't own his masters. So yeah. I got you, Queen. Got you. Marjorie says Trump won't pardon R. Kelly and Diddy. He's on a different mission now, Ukraine and Russia. Yep. O'Reilly says an African man made 1, 2, and it looks pretty good. Yes, so I heard. Electric car. Ross says deport Joyless Reed. We won't miss her. Y'all crazy. Magnetic says no. He says exactly no different from applying for a private sector job. Yeah, don't be laughing at people. It's crazy. Raven says Demetri Derek Bailey, a Black man, has his electric car on the market that charges itself. His dealership is Avani. I've heard of Avani, and based in Atlanta. It's his concept, created by him. Yeah, see, that's what we really need to be looking at, right? Black-owned cars. As Edgy says, the sun is rising in sundown town. Okay. Ivory, how you doing? Says the difference is deport or incarcerate. Due process over here. Says due process. Says over here, over there is the difference. Bottom line, we wouldn't be able to do any of what they do and get resources. Yeah, no doubt. They shouldn't be over here. If they're illegal, it shouldn't be over here. Especially if they're criminals. It shouldn't be over here. So nobody's arguing about that. Yeah, they get what we don't get. And that's why the Democrats are not in power, because Black Americans said, nah, I'm staying home. I'm voting for somebody else, or whatever the case is. We're not going. So yeah, we wholeheartedly, well, a lot of us rejected that. You're not bringing people over here and giving them what we've been asking for. Y'all tell us now, right? So for sure. Magnetic says waste is when Congress made Army buy 800 million worth of tanks. Army told them they didn't need them. There you go. That's waste. But of course, the military budget, of course, I don't need to tell you that is the most inflated budget in America. So absolutely. Marjorie says, I heard in South Africa that the Black South Africans are making cars better than Tesla cars too. No doubt. As Eddie says, she was pregnant in space. Ooh, They had to bring me down immediately. Brother Don says, I'm going to wait until I move to Burkina Faso before I purchase. And Itaqua Motors, it says Hoka EV. Okay. Yes, Rip Angie Stone. That's still hard to believe. Brother Jonell says, it's always something beyond the surface when it comes to what we see. Elon is insured. Yes, indeed. Brother Reggie says, speaking of Russia, did Putin and Trump talk yet? They were supposed to talk today. I think maybe they did. They came to some conclusion. Don't quote me. I know it sounds like Ukraine was like, okay, yeah, let's do this or whatever. But not quite sure. Queen Adaya, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Mr. South Carolina says Target rollback DEI pulled Black women owned products brand. Yeah, they did. But DEI again did not benefit Black people. It benefits white women the most. So, but pulling Black women's product. See, this is my thing, and I'm about to get out of here. But I want to say this. Hey, 48 TCO, I'm gonna say this. So they pulled the Black products from what they're saying off of the shelf. In Target. How true that is, I don't know, because I was there. Listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. I was there the other day and I saw some Black products. Okay, in fact, no, I was at Ulta where I bought a Black-owned lip gloss brand. Juvius is the name of it. But I saw some there. But let me say this: let's say they did pull all the Black products off of the shelves at Target, Walmart, or whatever. We got a Black billionaire class and a Black millionaire class. They can't put $2 or $3 together and buy a big giant warehouse like an Amazon type of thing and house, all of not most of the Black products there, and then do some sort of a shipping thing, just like Amazon, Black owned. They can't put that together, and so they could put all the products there, and we'll have some place to go, at least online, and then start building stores. They can't do that because that's still dependency on white people. Expecting to have our products in white-owned stores. They can change their mind at any point. But what's the backup plan? See, Target should be the plan B, C, D, E, Z. We should be the plan A. And that's the problem. We don't own Target. They allow Black people to have their stuff in there, whatever. Great. But if they've indeed changed their mind, where is the Black warehouse or the Black store where we could go purchase those things? That's the conversation we should be having. We should stop talking about Target. They taking out. They doing so. They're white-owned company, I guess. They're gonna do that. But what are we gonna do to save ourselves? That's the question. I'm tired of the Target conversation too. Perry says Jasmine Crockett running around clowning with her fear tactics, talking loud and saying nothing, especially not talking about reparations. Yeah, we're tired of Jasmine Crockett too. Brother Don says they won't touch them defense contracts because the PayPal kids got to get paid. Okay. You talking about Elon's people. CJ says I went to C12 and they had plenty of Tabitha Brown stuff. Yeah, so I've seen them in there, so I don't know. See, that's the other thing too. We got to stop believing every damn thing we hear. Somebody get online, they took out the Black products. Oh my God. And then we go crash out. And then all you got to do is take it. I was about to get real seasoned. All you got to do is take yourself in the Target and see, did they take out the Black products? Oh no, they're all right here. Somebody was lying. Next. You see what I'm saying? Logic. Raven says Representative Brandon Gill, Texas. He says Republican has the Dems about to stroke. He says he introduced a bill to put Trump's mug on $100 bill once his current term is up. Is it going to be orange? I don't know. Sunlight says I don't believe they pulled the Black products. They didn't. In fact, not the one I saw. In fact, I feel it says anyone want to pull Black products is a scam designed to cost Black people money. Yeah, but again, where's our warehouse, our stores? Tyler Perry and all of them, Oprah. Since they big time Democrats, F it. Go get a store or a warehouse and they say, hey, Tabitha Brown, all you Black people with stuff, put your stuff here. Negroes can go online to Negroes Are Us and they can go in, and if they want some Tabitha Brown, whatever she's selling, click like Amazon. Okay, it'll be here in this amount of time. Problem solved. And then Once it gets up and running, wash, rinse, repeat, put little stores here and there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. CJ says, I think I saw Lip Bar. I don't know. I didn't know it was a black owned either. Yeah, Lip Bar is black owned. It's in Target. Hey, Joyce, how you doing? Facts Not Feelings says black millionaires and billionaires depend on white system for their wealth. They want to keep the rest of blacks poor and working class while they wallow in the riches. Absolutely. Marjorie says, love you all. Donovan and Demetria and moderator, stay safe. Yes, indeed. I was getting out of here, right? Queen of Diet says, exactly. No one is going to save melanated people except for the Most High Yah. Yeah, and then the Most High Yah is saying, I told y'all to save yourself. What are you waiting on? I've given you permission to do that already. Stop waiting on me. Yeah. Brother Jonell says, we must decolonize fully mentally. Thinking like slaves don't allow independent motion beyond our colonizers and their business. Yep. And speaking of which, Walter, I think will be here tomorrow, Wednesday, Wealth Wednesday with Walter. Dano, how you doing? Oh, really says black people better wake up because they're doing for themselves totally 100 buy directly from these black businesses. No excuse. Yeah. We cannot continue to whine about what they won't allow us to do. Ross says white people and all of the other immigrant groups have control over their distribution of their products and services. FBA don't. That's where the conversation needs to be. Hey, Terry, how you doing? Reggie says talking loud and saying nothing. Folks got to do a little research before crashing out. Yeah, it's just like a domino effect. Oh, they did. They took it out. Oh, hell no. And then you run around like a chicken with your head cut off. And all you have to do is run yourself in the Target and see. So Reggie says an orange $100 bill with Trump's mug on it. Right. You know, Sunlight says, Demetria, laugh out loud. Don't have time for the dumb ish. He says Astra. I messed that word up, but yeah. Magnetic Negroes are us or something. I know that name needs some work, but Bubblegum Cat, how you doing? Says putting Marcus Garvey idea on shipping and warehouse goods in action. He did it. He was doing it back before they had online. Hell, did they even have a telephone in? Did they have TV? He was doing it. So don't say it can't be done. That's the trick, especially of the liberals, to get people to cry because they won't let me sleep next door to them. They won't let me put my product in their store. Instead of saying, stop all that crying. Let's build some stores. If the Democrats really cared about black people, they would say, hey, here's some money. We're building stores in black communities so y'all can bring your products and you can ship them out or people can come buy them. But they want to keep us dependent. So we got to wake up. You know what I mean? But I saw the lie on, about Target took all the black products. I was like, oh my God. Brother Jonelle says, teach, Queen, I'm trying. So that's why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Farrakhan teachers get the actual facts. Yeah. People just mad for nothing. You be just mad. CJ says, Walter is a vibe. Yeah, y'all think I'm crazy. He is doubly crazy. But he's smart. Sharon says, that's why Dems are so upset about the illegals being deported. That's messing with their pockets. Yep. Terry says, people keep waiting on change and don't know how to get out of the rain. Come on now. Tube Steak Johnson, how you doing? Says, Judge Roberts won't stop Trump from impeaching that activist judge. I don't know. It remains to be seen. Well, how it's like all unfolding, live and in living color, right? Marjorie says, yes, I'm at the last comment. Sunlight says, Demetria K, that's forgive me all Arabic. Oh, yeah, I only speak Ebonics. That says spake Ebonics. Says, forgive me in Arabic, I'm in Ramadan. Yes. And how is that going? Says, I'm not supposed to be talking like that or texting. Okay, got you, because woo, child. Queen of Dice says, when they say we can't just know it can't be, they don't want you to think otherwise. Melanated people are wise and intelligent. They just told us we are not. What does Yah say, kings and queens? Yep. He's giving us all we need. Aurelia says intellectually lazy is not productive, folks. Yeah, but we got to stop being that. Black people, if we don't do nothing else, we got to stop being intellectually lazy. Stop letting people mislead you and just telling you anything. You believe it. At what point do you say, I got a Target next door when I'm out and about? I'm going to go see if any of this is true. Everybody just ran away with it. Oh, my God. Like I said, I was just there yesterday. I be needing stuff that I can't get nowhere else, right? Jason, how you doing? Says, I don't know why we love being Bush. It says if they don't want you next to them, then stay away and build your own. It's really just that simple. Mrs. South Carolina says black people think the Most High is going to condemn them taking control of existence. Yeah, we scared to question, but the Most High has already told us what we need to be. FBA mark. There you go. Write it up. FBA mark. Come and get everything you need. One-stop shop. Anyway, love and appreciate every last one of y'all. I'm going to get out here. I've overstayed my time. It's always a pleasure. Yes, Brother Damon, stop being so emotional. FBA family, I'll be back here with Walter tomorrow. It's always a riot, but we're going to learn something. Maybe we'll ask them about those Tesla stocks where people are making $16 billion. That's what I'm going to ask them. Anyway, I love y'all. See y'all later. If you guys feel free, donate to the channel. Love you. Appreciate, like, subscribe, and all the above. See y'all later. Peace.